Hey everyone, this is just one more tactic that the Trudeau Liberals are going to use to keep a large section of the Canadian population under the big thumb of big government. This is how socialism creeps into Western societies. It's always under the pretense of, oh, we have to do it. It's an emergency. They always use fear. Fear is the tactic of those who wish to control or manipulate you. And since that roof over our head is one of the most important things that all Canadians have in common, having government assume control over it practically assures conformity and compliance from the many millions of Canadians who've been spending outside their means, ramping up massive debts, and buying into this massively overvalued, overheated, and overinflated housing market in this country. Headline of the Financial Post: Ottawa to buy up to $50 billion in mortgages in move that harkens back to the crisis of 2008. Ottawa says the move is immediate, significant, and effective action to support Canadians and businesses facing financial hardship. Right? As for those of you who are Canadians such as myself, who've been personally responsible, paid off your debts, don't have a mortgage, and are fiscally responsible, yeah, you get nothing. It's a big old zero, a big old goose egg for you. Not even a pat on the back. But if you've been reckless, irresponsible, haven't saved for a rainy day, and are barely getting by as it is because you were compelled or felt you needed $1 million home in the outskirts of Toronto, or a $2 million one in Vancouver, which is basically an oversized shoebox at this point, yeah, big government's got your back. But before you get too excited, keep in mind, that means government now holds that mortgage, not a bank. And just like with student loans, those are debt obligations you're never going to get out from under. And you better bet they're going to come with a lot of strings attached. Because in reality, it's not about giving you a free house or bailing you out. No, this is all about bondholders and the banksters. They're the ones who's going to benefit and are ultimately getting the bailout. This is being reported by Barbara Schechter, March 17th, 2020. In response to the COVID-19 virus pandemic, the federal government said Monday that it is preparing to buy up to $50 billion of insured mortgage pools through the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, CMHC. Ottawa said the move is immediate, significant, and effective action to support Canadians and businesses facing financial hardship as a result of the pandemic and its impact. This action will provide stable funding to banks and mortgage lenders in order to ensure continued lending to Canadian consumers and businesses, the government said in a statement, adding that it is meant to enhance other measures unfurled last week, which included an interest rate cut and easing up on the size of the capital cushion banks must maintain. Yeah, let's not forget about that $85 billion that the Trudeau Liberals have also promised. Like I say, think about it, folks. Listen, I get that a lot of people aren't financially or economically literate, but don't Canadians at least question where the hell is all this money coming from? Well, I can tell you, the unborn and future generation, that's who. The rich are being taxed to pay for this. Well, you could tax the rich at 100%. You'd still never be able to pay for all these unfunded liabilities, entitlements, and bailouts that the Canadian government and the American government, or a lot of Western country governments, have been doing since the financial crisis. That is the biggest problem. That's the major issue. Once you start down that road of doing bailouts where you're rewarding people for bad economic decisions or their own failures, once you've done that, once you've set that precedent, well, look what you got now today. You got basically every business or private individual who doesn't think critically about these issues, which represents the majority or the bulk of people in this country, who are now looking for government handouts or bailouts. And why? Because they said, well, hey, you did it for the auto industry. Hey, you did it for the banksters. Yeah, don't forget about all these banks that were bailed out, forced on us to bail them out, or like I say, the future generations, because are we paying for it? No, not yet. So it's got to be paid at some point in time. So think about it. These banks were already bailed out once after the financial crisis by Stephen Harper, all those idiots that I see on Twitter or some of the other social media pages saying, don't you wish Harper was back? Why? He'd be doing the same fucking shit, more or less. Like I say, it's two wings of the same bird. The libcon duopoly in this country, yeah, they got little minor differences between them, but they all want to socially and economically enslave anyone they can to maintain their own entitlements or lavish lifestyles. This constantly pulling forward the productivity from future generations to today to sustain this already massively corrupt and failing system, it's all going to prove, it's all going to shake out in the end that it was a complete waste of not just billions and billions and ultimately trillions of dollars, but the harm, the social, the economic, and the personal harm that it's causing to so many people that's already alive today. I mean, like I said, once this all shakes out, all you people, well, probably not many of you who are watching my video, but all the people that you know that support this shit are going to have their day of reckoning. Because in the age of information, they're not going to be able to sweep this under the table or under the rug or make people forget about it. Well, especially not while people like myself's alive. Now, of course, I require people to actually listen to me and share my information, which doesn't seem to be a priority for many people these days. So, well, there's that. Ottawa stepped in with a similar program during the 2008 financial crisis. The Canadian government did not buy soured mortgages, as was done in the United States. Instead, the idea is to give the big banks funding and liquidity flexibility so they could provide cash and credit to individuals and businesses as needed to keep the economy going. As insured mortgage pools in Canada already carry Government of Canada backing, there's no additional risk to taxpayers, the statement issued late Monday said. Knowing that the purchased insured mortgage pools will earn a rate of return for the government that is above its own cost of borrowing. You see right there, they're already like this. See the way this language is being used? It's a freaking amazing thing. Every time I read articles and they start talking about the financial crisis, it constantly baffles me. It's like, is there a really concerted effort from everyone in the media? Did everyone agree to shut the fuck up and never say anything about the actual bailouts of the banks in this country? I don't understand that aspect, because we all know, well, I mean, anyone that watches my videos, I've shared this so many times. The evidence is out there. It was reported on by the Financial Post and even CBC. Now, it was only done one time, and like I say, never talked about again. So I guess they probably figure that most people don't even know about it, which is the truth, and they want to keep it that way. But I am one of those people that have told people like you the truth, and I hope that you will share it. If people don't know that the Canadian banks were all bailed out after the financial crisis, well, they'll believe this kind of rhetoric as well. And they'll go along thinking that everything's okay. Oh, no, the government will, they'll get that all back and the people will be giving back all their money and then some, right? I mean, that's a complete farce. That's a snake oil salesman tactic that very few people would ever fall for if they were properly or truly informed. The reason why Canadians can continue to fall for this shit is because they don't have any grasp or understanding of what actually took place. Because the hacks in the media have made damn sure of that. I try my best to counter it, but like I say, I'm just one man. Details of the terms of the purchase operations will be provided to lenders later this week and will be done under revised insurance mortgage purchase program. During the 2008 crisis, these measures were found to be very effective, said Jason Mercer, a senior analyst at Moody's Investor Services. Mercer said the central bank is creating a pretty strong arsenal, with Monday's moves coming on top of earlier steps, including urging the big banks to suspend dividend increases and share buybacks. What may be different this time, however, is the impact the novel coronavirus and its fallout will have on credit quality of the bank's portfolios. Of course it was effective. The central bank, well, the Bank of Canada, the Federal Reserve, and what was it, the IMF, all printed up a bunch of money, counterfeited, devalued, destroyed your purchasing power, stole from you, and are continuing to steal from you on an ongoing basis. That's what inflation does. It's a stealth tax. But yeah, of course it was effective. If you print up a bunch of money, if you counterfeit a bunch of money, it's going to benefit those people who use that counterfeit money. Well, as long as the people are willing to accept counterfeited money, which in this weird fucking world that we live in now, people are. They basically tell us on a regular basis that they're counterfeiting money and printing it, which just law of supply and demand. If you don't understand much in terms of economics, at least understand the law of supply and demand. The more you print money, the lower in value it's going to be. Well, especially when you're just printing it for the sake of printing it, not based on any economic activity just for the sake of, oh, I need a bailout. Let me turn on the printing press, right? Yeah, that's effective for the people that benefit from it, but it's a detriment for everyone else. It's still early days, said Mercer. There will likely be a rise in unemployment that will cause loan defaults, Mercer said. While there was an increase in defaults during the 2008 financial crisis, the unemployment rate remained lower than in previous recessions, he noted. With businesses in many sectors now shutting down and steeply reducing their output, from airlines to restaurants, a higher unemployment rate could trigger a greater volume of defaults on mortgages, lines of credit, and credit cards, even as the government steps in with provisions to help workers weather the impact of the novel coronavirus. Anyways, folks, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below. Personally, I don't think the central bankers, the central planners, and those who represent big government and corporations are going to get away with what they got away with after the financial crisis. Well, they might for a while, but 2020 seems to be one of those years that's going to really shake things up. Or at least I hope. Because I'm telling you, if we continue on this road, if we allow it to happen, or I shouldn't say we, because sure shit isn't me, and I'm pretty sure it's not you. But if they continue on this road of massive debts, deficits, reckless spending, and constant bailouts, and constantly using the productivity or income of future and successive generations to pay for the failures in the here and now, if they continue to do that, I mean, think about what kind of precedent it's already been set so far. As if that wasn't bad enough, but then to see it done once again, who is ever going to believe that being personally responsible, saving for a rainy day, or being fiscally prudent is a wise thing to do anymore? When it's constantly being proven that those who do are the losers, while those who are massively reckless and irresponsible are the ones that benefit, to quite a substantial degree, I'll add. Not only is this affecting the economy and the social behaviors, but it's playing a massive effect on the psychology of millions of people. And that's going to carry through for a long time into the future. I don't know, I guess in the hopes that somehow a magical unicorn will come along and make everything A-okay and write a nice, happy ending to this story. Not going to happen, folks. You can count on that. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.